And all right, we are live. Welcome to Mindless Entertainment, but this is not Mindless Entertainment. This is, in fact, Footballs Deep. Footballs Deep, episode 1. This is going to go up on a separate channel when we're done here, and eventually we'll be streaming directly from that channel. I am joined by
Kendo Slice, world class bullshitters.
This is a really dramatic, exciting introduction. So
I thought you were going to say, I'm used to having somebody say my name as opposed to me having to call my own. So I was caught off guard. Growing pains. It's first episode. We're allowed to fuck up.
We are allowed to fuck up. We have 3 whole people watching. Hello, 3 people. Hello, 4 people. They're coming in now. Since this is not a usual Mindless Entertainment stream, this is in fact Footballs Deep, episode 1. Depending on how things go, we may be streaming from this channel until the other one gets monetized. But I have that link. I'm going to drop that here in the chat. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to Footballs Deep. Footballs Deep. There it is.
Yeah.
Thing. My Titans will trade you Mariota. I don't want Mariota.
Not at all.
Mariota. Fuck that guy. That guy's Mariota's a lie. But hi, Madaween. Welcome. So we're gonna talk. So I'm an Eagles fan. In case you didn't know, as an Eagles fan. And Kendo. Gee, I wonder which team do you support?
I don't know. That's a good question. I really couldn't tell you.
So we've got. So I'll be representing as we move over to the show. I'll be representing the NFC. Kendo's got the AFC. We have yet to figure out. There's going to be whoever wins the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter team, but whichever conference wins the Super Bowl, there will be punishment for the losers.
I had an idea for what I would pick for you to do for like the week after the Super Bowl. You had to walk around in like a Cowboys shirt.
God, I can't do that.
And just randomly yell out, "How about them boys?" as you walk around the streets of LA.
Oh my God, my flesh would burn off of me. I don't do that.
Yeah, but it would be funny because you'd have to like do at least 1 or 2 like live streams doing that or something like that, where you had to walk around and be like, "How about them boys?"
I'm not sure I can agree to these terms.
Well, we play for keeps on World Class Bullshitters.
Am I allowed to burn if I have to acquire Cowboys paraphernalia? Am I allowed to burn it after this week?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean that's what you could do at the end of the week. Then I guess you would just be able to take it and just set it on fire and whatever, and burn it and show everybody how happy you are not having to wear a Cowboys jersey.
Damn straight. Well, that being the case, I will have to think of something equally horrible for you.
But it's not set in stone. I could come up with something else. Maybe I'll come up with something nicer. You never know. Just kind of depends on how it goes. Maybe
you'll lose and then it won't even be an issue.
That's very likely. The NFC could win the Super Bowl. I don't know what team would do it, but
I don't know. There's a couple teams that maybe are capable of being Super Bowl.
I'm sure there are, but you're forgetting the Tommy is still an NFL player.
Oh my God, is he gonna stop ever? Can he stop?
I guess maybe when Giselle finally tells him to come home.
Do you think? Oh, so here, real talk though, is this finally going to be the year? Are we going to see any drop off in play from the ass face himself? I was going to say
from the Tommy. I'm going to say yes, but only because he is no longer going to have Gronkowski to throw to.
I think that's going to be huge. I'm really exciting for Gronkless Pats. I feel like they've just been sort of neutered, essentially.
Yeah, he's that tight end that's like what 6'5", 280 or something like that can run as good as he can. Yeah,
you might find in one of those.
No, that's a unique game-changing element to your team. It's like the Chiefs with Kelsey. You take Kelsey out of the lineup.
Oh, too.
We're hurting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another. Well, we'll move on to that next after the Brady conversation because I have a fun question for you along those lines. But I really do. I think that without Gronk, because that's been his go-to. That's the thing that they can always do. Is the Patriots could do anything, and if whatever else they were doing failed, throw to Gronk, and that safety net, that fallback plan is gone, and that was one of the things that allowed. That was one of the things that actually allowed Brady to get the ball out of his hands so fast, which is key for him as an older quarterback, avoiding those hits. So where does that ball go if he doesn't have that surefire target?
Oh, believe me, I still have not recovered from the AFC title game this year, where essentially their plan to beat us was, hey, we're just going to go ahead and keep throwing to Gronk, or we're going to go ahead and throw a slant pass to Edelman. And the Chiefs just sit there and say, hey, Gronk's lining up outside. he ain't gonna throw to him. And every time he just kept throwing. Every time he lined up outside, it was like, we're not gonna cover.
That's that genius plan. Genius.
Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible evening.
Yeah, I still have a theory that when we face them in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 52. Sorry, I just get excited sometimes. But I have a theory that I'm staring at my shirt still. I have a theory that that Schwartz told our defense to only go like 75% or less as long as we had the lead.
Right.
Because that's been, I mean, the war of attrition has been how they've won so many Super Bowls and so many playoff games, is just being able to put up the points, put up more points, continue to put up the points. And if they couldn't put up the points, to just wear down your defense until they could put up the points. So
right.
We had a high scoring offense, and we're able to get up early. I really think that this was very much like, yeah, just hang back, just don't really challenge them unless we're not in the lead. And lo and behold, the second that became an issue, strip sack. So
I was very happy because I bet on the Eagles to win that one. I took the 8 points and said, I think they're just going to outright beat them.
Yeah. I wanted to bet my entire life savings on the Eagles. I just didn't get around to it, and I'm very sad because we have Green Leader in the chat as well. It's got some Eagles representation in this
There you
chat.
go.
So that's I don't know if we have any KC friendlies out there, but certainly I have a few people who know where my heart lies. So the question I want to ask you though is which of us has the better Kelsey?
It's kind of hard to say because that's an apples to oranges type of thing. Because I mean, your Kelsey is a center, he's a lineman, he runs all that. Whereas my Kelsey is, my spirit animal, my beast, my bear cat, coming across the line, doing all sorts of great shit, and sometimes losing his head and getting flagged for personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct. But you can't really compare them. I mean, they're both great in their own regards. I'll take the homer pick and say Travis.
Of course, I'm going to go with Jason. But they really are top of the class in their respective positions.
Right.
And both are doing things. I mean, I think Jason Kelsey's a little bit more of a unicorn in that he is small for a center, yet incredibly athletic for a center, and as just one of the best run blockers. Easily the best run blocker on our team, and just makes moves out in space that I've never seen any other center do. So
Travis has got better dance moves though, probably.
Apparently Jason, which no one could believe after that speech at the parade, Jason's apparently the quiet one.
I can see that because Travis is out there. He's very out there.
Yep. But I don't know. Did you watch Jason Kelsey's mummer, fully clad mummer speech at the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl victory parade?
No, just because, call me, mean, but for some reason watching another team Super Bowl parade's never been on my list of. I've never been like, oh man, that team won the Super Bowl. That's awesome. I have to win their parade or watch their parade. I'm just like,
Strange. Yeah, I can't say I've done that for any other team either. But that speech was one of the all-time greats. Probably the greatest speech given by an NFL player of all time. Just flat out, bam. Reese saw it live. I saw it live. I was standing there. It was pretty amazing. He was in full mummer regalia. He yelled and screamed about all the people. He went through by name every person, player or personnel on the Eagles who people stopped believing in or said didn't know what they were doing, and basically told everyone to F off because he was right and they were wrong and all of that.
Yeah.
So it was special. It was a special moment.
Yeah.
Creator was there as well. We got Colts in the chat. We got Colts represented in the chat. Yeah. So who on your team, who's going to be your big breakout player this year?
Oh, that's a good question because Mahomes obviously was that last year. I would say one of the two Williams in the running back, but they kind of broke out sort of anyway. Damian Williams, was an emergency third string running back. He, like I said, Kareem Hunt was the breakout from the year before that. And then he turned into a place kicker and was, had to be thrown off the team. And Spencer Ware got his job back, was immediately hurt, and Damian Williams came out of nowhere and he kind of broke out. So I would say him, if it wasn't for the fact that for like the last 6 games plus the playoffs, he was just crazy good coming out of that backfield. So breakout player for the Chiefs this year. Trying to think of anybody that we have. I'll just go with Damian Williams again because I think we only saw a brief amount of ability that he had in just that tail end of the season and into the playoffs. That I think if he's getting the nod this year, he's number 1 on the depth chart. Then we should. I think we got a 1,500 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns out of him.
That would be exciting for you guys. Say won't even miss Kareem Hunt anymore.
No.
Who's that a-hole? We didn't need him.
He plays for the Browns now.
He does indeed. We'll have to talk about the Browns because they're going to be interesting. They're either going to win the division handily or they're going to implode with all of those egos.
Yes, that's
pretty much the only way to go.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a very there's only 1 or 2 parallel or polar ends that's going to happen. There's no they're either going to be 1-15 or they're going to just run roughshod over everybody and go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I think they could have a more middling record, I think, but it would be like we start out fine and then implode and then just get trashed for the rest of the season.
They have a couple of bad games and you already know what's going to happen with OBJ.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm watching him have tantrums is one of my favorite things in all of football.
Well, that's how I feel about Antonio Brown going to the Raiders. When they traded him to the Raiders, everyone's like, oh my God, the Raiders, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what the Raiders need. They need another diva in that locker room causing shit.
Clearly, because that's not been a continuous issue for their team for the past in the history of their franchise.
Yeah, I was going to say that started with Al Davis and just worked its all the way down.
Exactly.
I mean, remember, this is the organization that I think drafted a punter in the first round once.
I am excited for them to move to Vegas because that is going to be a good landing place, I think, for them. I think it's going to be a very appropriate landing place for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never once had a nice thing to say about Raiders fans, and their hedonistic degeneracy can only belong in one better place than Oakland or Los Angeles, and that would be Las Vegas.
Exactly. Let's go to a city they can't ruin because it's already a pit.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm excited too because it's a 4-hour drive away from me and a short plane ride. So that's more NFL game options. I think we got 2 more seasons, so not next season, but the one after the Eagles should play them again. So hopefully they'll play them out in Vegas. That'll be fun for me.
There you go.
I love getting to go to Eagles games, but not having to worry about spending a kidney trying to get into the link.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about the Kansas City Chiefs go to the Philadelphia Eagles next season.
Yes, so indeed.
We'll have to go to that.
We will. That should be fun. That should be exciting. We'll definitely have to do that.
Oh, here we got a good transition right here from Zeno the Stoic. He says, "Is Kansas City finally playing in Mexico City?" And yes, according to the schedules that came out the other day, there is a game in Mexico City, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, against the San Diego or Los. It's gonna be hard for me not to call them the San Diego Chargers. It's the Los Angeles Chargers.
Right. Los Angeles. That's so weird to me.
I know they've been the San Diego Chargers my entire football watching life, and then to turn around and call them the Los Angeles, it just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't. It's really weird. It's very strange. I'm surprised. Like I don't know. It was a bad move on their part. There was no reason for it. The climate out here is there are people. The people who they lost are no longer just like, I don't cheer for the Chargers anymore. Those people are adamantly like, F the Chargers. Chargers are dead to me. Like
yeah, I was gonna say every game the Chargers play at home is an away game because they're like the Chiefs Chargers game last year. It looked like it was at the lower bowl of Arrowhead with all the red that was in that stadium.
Well, yeah, when we played them 2 years ago, we easily outnumbered them by a long shot. Then again, though, I think the Eagles outnumbered Eagles fans outnumbered home fans at a number of their road games last season, and especially that season. Of course, that was our magical season where we thing.
Well, I know that the Eagles-Rams Monday Night Football game last year, I think it was heavily Eagles in the crowd too, because it sounded like. But then again, the Rams historically, even in St. Louis, had a history of always playing on the road, even at home.
Yeah, very much so. No, that was definitely another one where we owned that stadium. It wasn't quite as impressive as 2 years before, where you just couldn't hear. Where I mean, there were actually Rams fans there, and they were making noise as well. 2 years ago, when we played them at their stadium, you couldn't hear anybody. I mean, when they tried to, oh, Rams, pump it up, you couldn't hear anything. There was no sound coming from them. And then I think Eagles fans caused at least one false start for them in that game. It was pretty
nice.
This past one I was at as well, I got hit in the face by a Rams fan on the way into the stadium. Just full hand, 40-year-old dude, just open hand smacks me in the face. So I responded with a left hook that was apparently a lot harder than his smack had been.
Well, it makes you feel like you're at home in Philadelphia, with all that type of stuff and behavior.
Excuse me, we don't hit each other, we just throw things.
Yes, we've had this conversation about you guys battering that poor Santa Claus.
He deserved it. It's fine, he deserved it.
Well, yeah, of course they don't have that problem in Denver, Caleb. They're all high.
That's true. They just wants to get along. Also, their team is shit. So
that's right. Good job on that quarterback upgrade that we will talk about in detail.
Oh my God. Should we just dive into that? Just dive into some quarterback situations.
Let's discuss that. Let's talk about some quarterbacks and some really phenomenal upgrades by the Denver Broncos.
That was okay. So my understanding is that John Elway is like way too involved in who their quarterback is going to be, and way too making terrible decisions. Now, I don't know what he was smoking when he ever thought Paxton Lynch was going to be the guy. And then Case Keenum was going to be the guy. And now Flacco.
Don't forget Brock Osweiler was in that mix too.
Brock.
The biggest contract or one of the biggest quarterback contracts ever.
Oh, my God.
I think he got that from Houston. But, yeah, Brock was going to be the second coming. The Broncos quarterback situation has been garbage since the horse-toothed assassin decided to retire from football. They locked into the Peyton Manning sweepstakes, which was the only reason why they were relevant. And since then, they've had good defense, but their quarterback situation minus Peyton Manning has been suspect at best. And they went out and they spent big on Case Keenum to be the guy. They were awful, and I laughed. I enjoyed that. But the remedy to the situation is an aging, not as good as his numbers on paper are, Joe Flacco.
Yep, the guy that the Ravens dumped because he's clearly his best days are behind him.
Yeah,
and this is the guy you picked to revitalize your franchise. I don't know.
Which for Joe Flacco is funny because his best days were a really good quarterback's average days.
Yeah,
like he definitely had the Trent Dilfer effect with the Ravens. He helped them win a Super Bowl pretty much because of the defense.
Yep. And, we've seen that multiple times where you have. I mean, even Peyton's last Super Bowl, they won that game in spite of him.
Right.
That was a defensive. That was all defensive glory.
Yeah.
But that's
a Cam Newton's personal implosion.
Yeah. Oh man, that was nice.
I definitely wanted the Panthers to win that one just because of how much I hate the Broncos, but it was also funny watching Cam Newton be completely humbled.
Oh man, and that was the talk about getting neutered. He really got neutered in that game and has never been the same man since then.
No, he's definitely been a shell of himself since just getting completely manhandled in that Super Bowl.
Annihilated to come all that way and be like, "Oh, I'm the greatest! Look at me go with this." Were they undefeated that season? Or they lost one game maybe?
I think they just lost the one game is all they lost. They were going in the Super Bowl. I think they were 16, 17-1.
Yeah, and they were top of the world, and then man, that I enjoyed that. I have a lot of Schadenfreude. I like watching people who think they're great topple like that. So
it is fun. I think it's less fun considering it was the Broncos that were able to overcome them. But I mean, if there was anybody else, I would have been totally okay with it. Well, few teams, not those, but yes, seeing Scam Newton go down like that was pretty damn funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was, and I just really enjoyed everything after that, all his attitude, the whole thing about how no one believes in him because he's a black quarterback. Like, where have you been?
Yeah, it's like, calm down. You're not the newest thing to ever happen in that regard. There was that quarterback for the Redskins, with Jason Williams, Gerald Williams, something like that won a Super Bowl for the Redskins back in the 80s as a black quarterback. So exactly. He's nothing new. Donovan McNabb came very close.
He came very close. He had a very illustrious playoff career. So
yeah, Michael Vick had opportunity if he just, the Falcons could have got themselves right, and he could have, stopped. Yeah, I was gonna say, stop trying to be, dog owner of the year.
That's still side note. That's still my favorite. I got my Dawkins jersey right here. My favorite hit in the history of the NFL is it was the playoffs. It was, I'm trying to remember if it was which game of the playoffs it was, but it was Falcons and Eagles, and Vic was making a break for the end zone, and Dawkins just comes out of nowhere like a bullet and pancakes him. It was special.
Yeah, a couple. It's up to, I think it's almost like 3, 4, or 5. The last time the Jets played at Arrowhead, I went to that game, and we knocked out the Jets starting quarterback. I don't remember who he was at the time. And then Slick Vic came in because he was the backup for the Jets at the time. Wow. And I think he had a couple of plays where he just missed his targets, and then on a 3rd and long scrambled to try to just pick up any yardage, and he got racked and went down, came up holding his head, and he didn't come back out. So there you go.
Damn.
The Chiefs gave him a concussion, probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's for Fido.
That's what you get. That's what you get. Speaking of the Jets, is that like, have they just given up? Is that where we're at with the Jets? Right? I don't even know who they're.
Well, they've got Sam Darnold.
Oh, Darnold.
Yeah. They got new uniforms, so they've got that going for them.
That'll be great. That'll fix all of their problems.
They're awful looking uniforms. If you ask any Jets fans, I've heard many a Jets fan complaining about how awful the new Jets uniforms are. It's the ones they used to have where it was like the green scheme thing going on with the white, and it just had white Jets on the side. Those were all right, and then they reverted back to that 70s throwback model they were rocking for a while, and then now they've got. Now it's like a black and green type of color scheme.
Yeah, that's. Let me see. I'm going to pull up. See if we can get.
Yeah.
For what that looks like.
Yeah. So the Jets got new uniforms. But
I can't find a good image for it.
Zeno made another good point. He said that we're very hard on quarterbacks in Kansas City. Poor Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, I was watching that game at work, and the guy that had the desk next to me, he's an Arizona Cardinals fan because he liked them as a kid when they were in St. Louis. They moved. He stayed loyal to the team, and we were watching the game, and he hates the 49ers naturally. He's Cardinals fan, and Garoppolo went running to the sideline, tried to make a cut real quick, got pushed out of bounds, came down that ACL went snizzap, and he was done.
Bye-bye. That was Tony cried. That's my boyfriend's a massive Niners fan.
Is he?
So he was like, oh, you're gonna be. He's one of those kind of football fans he has these very inflated, unrealistic concepts of his team. And every year is like, this is gonna, like, some teams come in, it's not gonna be the year.
So he's like some of the Bengals fans that every year they think that's the year that they go 14-2 and win the Super Bowl. And it's like, Marvin Lewis is still there. He's not there now, but he was.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen for you.
Yeah. Doug Peterson's first year. We were never going to win the Super Bowl that year. It would have been great if we did. We were never going to go to the playoffs that year. You knew that. You were just excited to see what's this new coach going to do? What's this new quarterback going to do? And it was a fun season. All things considered, it was a little bit painful because there were a lot of games we could have won. In fact, we would have gone to the playoffs if not for Nelson Aguilar, who to me is one of the biggest success stories, like failure to success stories I've seen. Certainly one of the biggest ones on our team. So especially not discounting the fact that it's a really difficult thing to lose the city in Philadelphia and come back and win the fans again. I mean, we know how hard the Eagles fans can be, and not just Philly fans in general. I remember going to a Phillies game where you have Rollins will get a base hit, maybe a run batted in, and a home run, and then he comes for his fourth at bat and strikes out, and everyone's like, "You suck, Rollins!" Like that's how we are. That's how we do. So.
I was going to say the sports world is well aware of the behavior of Philadelphia sports fans. It's been documented. It's been documented very well throughout history.
We are the best. That was even I knew someone who had done like a baseball tour of the East Coast when they were visiting and went to baseball games in different cities, and they had the same comment about the Eagles. It's like the turn on their players like that. It's fun. I did find the new Jets uniforms. There's the new Jets uniforms.
And how awful do you think they are?
So here's my biggest complaint there is, I mean, they're not special. They're super generic. They look like, like a high school team's uniform. And then they made their green a little bit darker, a little bit richer. So some of those, I mean, the pants still look like the Jets green, but some of those jerseys and stuff, I'm like, are you trying to be the Eagles? Like some of that green is a little, I don't know.
Yeah, they turned up the volume or down the volume on the green, and then it looks like black is their secondary color now. They've kind of gone away from because they were always green and white. Now white isn't as featured as prominently, and then they got 3 different uniforms.
Yeah, and the white one too. Even I think their old white one used to be white, the white pants with the green stripes on it.
Right.
But now we've got the white uniforms. Both have it's the same one that they're showing. The white uniforms have green pants now and green leggings and all of that, green tights. They're just green all the way. And then it's funny because the black ones right there too, with the way they're doing the highlighting, again, that green is different from their other green. They almost look like the Seahawks, with that highlighter color. So they're just trying to just channel better teams, I guess.
So I'm looking at the list of quarterbacks since we were talking about quarterbacks, and I got down to the Tennessee Titans, and the Tennessee Titans starting quarterback, according to this, is listed as Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, so the fellow Missouri product, so I can't slide him for that one. However,
yep.
I mean, the Blaine train is now, granted, he could be listed that way just because I think Mariota ended the season hurt.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
He hasn't looked as good as he had after those first couple seasons he had when he came out and he was just, lighting things up, and then he kind of got dinged up a little bit and he just hasn't been the same ever since then. But actually, I kind of hope the Tennessee Titans decide to roll out Blaine Gabbert as their starting quarterback this year. It could be a lot of fun.
That would be interesting. According to ESPN, Mariota bulks up with weights and better diet. All right.
Well, he needs it.
Clearly does. That'll be interesting if they roll with Blaine though. But no, Mariota's one of those. We had a few years of that where you had these big stars come out and they were incredible. They had these incredible rookie seasons and everyone was so blown away by them and they just disappeared. I mean, like RG3 is a great example. He was there and then he wasn't. And then he just needed Tebow. Tebow is the quarterback of the future. Where's Tebow? Where's Tebow now?
Speaking of quarterbacks that went absolutely nowhere, let's talk about one of the finest products ever to come out of the terrible school that is Michigan State.
Dude.
I say that specifically because of a certain individual I see in our chat.
No.
But yeah, Kirk Cousins, huge payday, and what has he done?
Exactly. Oh my God. I love that. I love that the Vikings think that this is the answer. It's incredible what the Vikings were able to do with Keenum, and I'm not surprised what they weren't able to do with Cousins. That's some of it too. He could have been. I think he had a higher ceiling than what he's been allowed to perform to. He's just never had the right system. I mean, his best years with the Redskins, the team didn't even believe in him. The team wasn't even behind him. So, he's just fully past his prime now. So,
oh yeah, that to me was like the epitome of playing for your contract. Like whenever they're like, oh, it's a contract year, so he'll be good because it's a contract year, and then He played great, got franchise tagged, played great again, was going to get franchise tag, ended up leaving because I don't think he got tagged twice. And went off to Minnesota, a team that was competing for an NFC title the year before that, and look what happened.
I mean, were they really competing? Like, they were in the game, but were
True.
they really competing? That's one of my favorite memories, recent game watch memories.
Yeah, I mean, they had a shot. The previous 2 years they had been doing decent. They were that one busted ass coverage away from winning a game, and well, they're shitty now.
They are. I mean, they were going to end up. They by rights should have gone to the postseason this year. Their last game of the season was Chicago, and it was against Chicago, and that was one I was following very closely because we needed the Vikings to lose that game in order for the Eagles to go to the playoffs. And by rights, they should have, because Chicago still had I believe it was, there was still the possibility that they were going to end up with a bye, I think. And so they had something to play for going into that game. But whoever it was, I want to say it was the Rams, I think, were playing the Niners. And so there was this possibility because the Rams still could have lost. I'm trying to remember how that all shook down. There was still an opportunity for Chicago to come in and take the bye, but the Rams put the Niners away cleanly in the first quarter of that game. Yep. And inexplicably, Chicago never really rested their starters. They kept Trubisky in unless they just wanted to have that experience before going into his first postseason. They inexplicably left their starters in deep into the third quarter, maybe even the fourth. And the Vikings just decided they didn't want to go to the postseason, which, of course, turned out to be a huge winning that game was a huge calculation error on the Bears' part, because then we came into their house and wrecked their day. So,
yeah, they surprised a lot of people with that one because I think everybody was fully expecting it to go the other direction.
Absolutely. I was in there, drinking my sorrows away, be like, this is it. This is the end of the season there. And yeah, I don't know why. I know what possessed them to keep their starters in that long, but hey, because I fully think they would have taken out the Vikings. You rest because it's hard to beat the same team 2 weeks in a row. So the Vikings now would have the onus of beating the Bears again. They would be coming in with the ego because they had won it the last time, even if it's because the Bears had rested their starters. The Bears that would have been easy. They would have easily won that game. I think that would definitely have been the right choice if I'm them, rather than facing Nick Foles' ridiculous postseason record.
Right. The legend of Big Dick Nick, as he's referred to on the Urinating Trees channel, which is a fantastic one if you ever want to watch fun sports videos.
Fun times. Big Dick Nick is how we all refer to him. Everyone can accept him because he hates it.
So I saw that Blake Bortles is employed again, speaking of Nick Foles.
Who picked up Bortles?
The Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, they're back. That's so cute.
Yeah, so if Goff gets hurt, Rams fans, you're fucked.
Does that now mean that the Rams have the two stupidest quarterbacks just talking pure intelligence, the two stupidest quarterbacks in the league, will we say?
Probably.
Bortles, I don't know how dumb he actually is as a person. I do know that Jared Goff, until recently, did not know that the sun rose in the east and set in the west. So,
well, he's an athlete. He's not supposed to be intelligent. Although as a quarterback, you'd want a smart quarterback.
You'd think that, but why you need a smart quarterback? I mean, McVay is basically their quarterback. Let's be real.
True.
McVay is the brains. He calls the audibles. He is quarterbacking for that team. It's just that they've got a
Gurley.
Oh yeah, it's how Gurley. But yeah, no, it's just he's just there to throw the ball.
Yeah. Right.
Goff is just there to throw the ball down the field.
I hope they go 0-16.
What?
I hope they go 0-16. Just teach Kroenke a lesson about building that big, giant stadium to his small manhood.
That'd be fine with me. That'd be fine with me. I mean, obviously, boyfriend is a Niners fan, so he has a hatred, very deep hatred of the Rams, and I think it's spreading to me. Though I'm also just, that was the quarterback conversation that was Goff, Prescott, and Wentz were the same year, and obviously Goff was the first pick overall, and So I sort of have this. I want him to fail because I want Wentz to be the undisputed best, and in my mind he already is. But there's still the occasional delusional Cowboys fan that thinks Prescott is somehow still a part of that conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Talking to my friend the other day, oh, the jury's still out on Prescott. This is the year he's really got to do something, or that's it. And I'm like, dude, that's what you see is what you get. You're not getting anything from that guy that you haven't already seen.
No, the most worrisome, I would say, duo right now would be if you're the Baltimore Ravens, because you've got Lamar Jackson, who could very well be a star. He has the tools, but if he gets hurt, his backup is Robert Griffin III.
RG3,
and
they're gonna come back.
I don't know. I don't understand how he still can be upright unless they've had to completely just He's probably got like Lieutenant Dan legs. They're just all completely titanium, and he's got a cyborg's body below the waist at this point.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that's that right now. He has to be a pocket passer at this point. He does not have any other option.
So, yeah, I was gonna say his mobility has been gone for a while. He lost the mobility when he got his knee destroyed the first time, and then he destroyed his own knee the second time trying to get away from being destroyed. And that poor guy, his career has just never actually really worked out.
It's because he could. I mean, he was talented, but that's again the running quarterbacks. This is what happens when you're a running quarterback. They've been in the past. Since Wentz's ACL, that's been the whole conversation is let's make him into a little more of a pocket passer. Certainly is capable of doing. So that's exciting. I am really excited about the Giants sucking this year. That's going to be fun for me.
Yeah.
They jettison their all-star receiver. They're somehow still sticking with Eli.
He's got to have naked pictures of the ownership in some weird donkey show activity. I mean, interspecies erotica. I mean, he's got to have something on this ownership team for them to say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep sticking with this guy.
That does sound like the only logical explanation. I can't fathom why. I mean, obviously, and they can't even try to get some sort of. I mean, didn't they draft somebody, but like deep late. They have some crappy backup right now who's never going to be their starter.
Let's take a look. NFC East depth chart. They've got Eli Manning, Alex Taney, and Kyle Lauletta.
Jesus, yeah.
So
they have nobody. I mean, which is like how obviously ego is going to get bruised if they try to if they try to draft the new heir apparent. Ketchel White asked, how old is Eli now? That's a good question.
He was drafted in 2004, so he's been around for 15 years. So he's got to be at least 37.
Yeah, late 30s.
He was a quarterback that played, I believe, his entire career in college. He didn't come out early at all. So he's 38. Yeah, as I say, 38. So he might have got redshirt the first year, which would make him 38.
38 indeed.
Yeah.
That's woof. Yeah,
he's got no one to throw to.
No Evans. Who do they have? They have no runners really.
They've got Barkley. That's it.
Oh right, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
they got Saquon. Yeah, they got that's their team right now. Their team is Saquon Barkley. That's their whole team. Which, by the way, I have to admit, he is a sexy runner. When that guy runs, it's beautiful. I mean, he's better. I think he's better than Gurley easily. Definitely better. I mean, Gurley's pretty impressive, but Saquon Barkley, I think, is just another class above. But even last year, I mean, he would go up against teams, put up 100 yards in rushing, and the Giants would still lose. That was their season. So
yeah, he was very fun. He was very good to have on my fantasy team last year. I will say it benefited me quite a bit. Started in the league I was in. I started the season 0-5. Barkley was the only reason why I was barely losing games. Made a trade, got rid of Barkley, picked up some other people, and then turned around and ripped off 7 wins on the bounce, and ended up going to the semifinals that year. So that one worked out.
Hooray! I still have never played fantasy, but
that will be one of the future episodes of this show is where I teach you how to play fantasy football. I'll create a league that you can join because my cousins got disaffected with the league that he was in because it was a bunch of his friends from high school, and they were essentially turned into like an adult drama chess club. It was from the outside looking in, it was like these guys whine all the time. Plus, they were always trying to pull off like huge blockbuster trades because they thought, I guess, it was Madden. And so we decided to create our own league this year. So if you want in, you can be in my league. And once I get it set up, and I'll teach you how to play fantasy football.
All right, it'll be fun. What could possibly go wrong?
Worst case scenario, you end up having a learning experience. You lose most of your games. It's a learning experience. I mean, I won back-to-back championships in my buddy Rocco's league. I was destined for a third straight one, which would have got me a title belt. But Le'Veon Bell decided not to show up, and James Conner got hurt at the wrong time of the season.
Life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
Fucking Bell.
Shall we talk schedules?
Let's talk schedules.
Let's talk schedules. Because we're 40 minutes into the show right now. I figured we'd go about an hour. Figured it's an hour-long show. Yeah, I don't know. We did the things we never discussed ahead of time. Yeah,
but I mean, it's the first episode. There's some growing pains, and we plan on doing this more than just once or twice. So we've got a long way to go before the season starts. So we have plenty of stuff to talk about in the meantime. So
we'll get there. So schedule. So you have the official easiest to hardest, toughest and easiest schedules.
Right, based on the opponent's combined 2018 win percentage from the 2018 campaign, the Oakland Raiders have the toughest schedule according to the way they ranked strength of schedule, which to me is hilarious because I have no love whatsoever for the Raiders.
Of course not.
The Broncos have the second hardest schedule. The Chiefs technically have the fifth hardest schedule. That's because the way that it all works out, the way the schedule rotation is. I mean, usually the teams in the same division are going to have a harder schedule than others because of the way it lines up. We've got to play against what is it? What divisions are the Chiefs? Oh, the NFC North, and so that's Packers, Bears. Bears had a good year. Vikings, I think, is on the road, so that's a tough game in theory. And then there's the Lions on the road, which should be a gimme, which I actually will be attending in Detroit.
They're still that'll be fun. They're still going with Stafford, right? They're keeping.
Yeah, the previous highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Yes,
they're just going to continue on their path of solid mediocrity. Until they have a reason to change. I don't know. How you get?
It's the Lions. If we ever need to have a fan perspective on the Detroit Lions, I have the perfect fan in mind to come on the show and just unload 30 minutes worth, an hour's worth of just unhappiness and misery about the Detroit Lions.
I saw
you know him. You met Dion.
Oh yes, I would love to listen to Dion be miserable. That would give me great joy.
Yeah.
I saw one of my favorite football memes ever, aside from every single double doink meme from the Bears game. It's the Lion King, and there's the shadowy place. It says the Super Bowl, and it's the conversation of what's that shadowy place? Oh, no lion's ever been there. Was the meme.
Yeah, that makes sense. They were a good team before the Super Bowl era.
Yep.
They had decent runs with Barry Sanders.
That was us the Eagles have multiple championships, but only one of them is a Super Bowl. So that's the Lions are the Browns of the NFC. Yep, they kind of are though.
Yeah.
They're not nearly as big of a mess. But we're playing the North as well we're playing the NFC North as well. We also have the AFC East. Yeah, we have the East because we have yes. North.
The Patriots?
Yes. Which one are they the East or the North?
Who, the Patriots?
Yeah.
They're the AFC East.
They're the AFC East. That's what I thought. Yeah, so we have the East. Which will be interesting. That'll be the first. That'll be our Patriots rematch. I'm pretty okay with the Eagles schedule. We're the only team with 3 back-to-back road games, which is seems kind of unfair. And they're all proper road games. We go to Minnesota, we go to Dallas, and then we go to Buffalo. Buffalo's not that far, but these are not. It's not like going to Redskins or Giants or Jets or anything like that. These are legitimate road games, and 3 in a row. which I heard the reason that they did that was that they're expecting the Phillies to make the playoffs this year. And the Link and Citizens Bank Stadium are kind of on top of each other. I think they may even share some parking facilities.
Like Kansas City.
Yeah, so they don't want that to happen, which I say that's stupid. Just don't have the baseball games on Sundays, and then problem solved. And then also just at this point, if the Phillies do not make a deep playoff run, I am going to be very sad. I'm going to be very grumpy.
Well, considering you just spent the entire fortune of the city of Philadelphia on one player.
Yeah, well, certainly that as well. That too.
So,
yeah.
Do you want to hear some news that'll make you unhappy?
Sure.
So, in regards to that strength of schedule thing, the Redskins have apparently the easiest schedule, but two of the teams that are tied with the easiest schedule and strength of schedule based on last year, the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams.
Which is BS. That's just abject BS. I mean, of course, the Patriots are always going to have one of the easiest schedules because they are in the most BS division in the league. So they have, I mean, they always manage to try to lose one or two of their division games. But other than that, like they play the Dolphins twice, they play the Jets twice, they play the Bills twice. I mean, they're going to win at least 4 of those 6 games. You know, that's a gimme. Whereas every other team has tougher division rivals or a tougher history, you know, against their division rivals and may go 50-50. You know, they're always coming out ahead in their division games. As for the rest of it, I mean, they're playing the NFC East, which is really the Redskins. They can have that easy schedule. They're garbage, and they're going to be garbage. They're going to absolutely be garbage this year. And the Giants are going to be garbage. And the Cowboys are nothing. Unless you're in Dallas and the refs are cheating for you, the Cowboys are not that great of a team. So those are my 2 cents, you know. But are you frozen? Am I frozen? Is something frozen? I'm not hearing you anymore. You have gone. Uh-oh.
Am I back?
You're back. Now I see frozen you and I see regular you. So
story of my broadcasting life. When I'm at home using my phone as my Wi-Fi, I get every once in a while it cuts in and out and I have issues. I'm actually at a place right now where I'm with a high-speed connection because you wanted to do video and the damn thing breaks.
I'm just saying.
I cannot win.
We discussed ahead of time that we were going to do video.
Yeah.
Because people need to know what teams we represent, and they need to believe that I am, in fact, a female person who likes the sports ball. So it's a rare snowflake of a creature because there's none of us. There's tons of women who love football, which is, I think it's funny when it's like, yeah, you guys do like football. And we don't all wear the pink hats too, by the way. That's like real grumpy at the women who come into the Eagles bar I go to, and they're like little short shorts and they're just wearing like a little Eagles hat or something like you're not a fucking fan. They just sit and talk to each other and gossip the whole game. I'm like, get the fuck away from this TV. You are blocking my view. Real fans here want to watch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're there for the cocktails and the socializing.
Exactly, which is funny. Which is always funny when they come into this bar for the first time and think that's what they're going to get. I'm like, nah, this is an Eagles bar. There will be yelling, screaming, singing.
Bad language.
Lots of foul language. We will not be here to socialize with you. Any of the guys, you're not here to pick up dudes. They're not here to. They don't give a shit about you. They give a shit about what's on that television screen. So, I'm just saying. Yeah.
So, back to schedule talk. So, yeah, the Patriots go ahead and catch a break with their soft division that they're in. So, the schedule. There was the international games, which we mentioned that the Chiefs are going to go to Mexico.
Yep.
To play against the Chargers. And once again, the NFL is feeling the need to go to London and play games there, which at first it was just like, that's really stupid. Why are they doing that? The people in England aren't going to want to watch this. But they apparently show up enough to where they are interested and go to the games. It's profitable enough, I know. And they'll probably, once again this season, we'll get the typical, we should have a team in London talk.
Yeah, well, they move the Chargers to London. That'd be funny. We played the Jags in London last year, and there were apparently a ton of Eagles fans at that game. I got up. I got to the bar at 6:30 to watch it. That was the day after Halloween. I was wrecked. I was a shell. But it was the other day, or it was the day after my Halloween party, whatever. It was Halloween weekend, so I'd gone out on Saturday night, as did everyone else, and I got like 2 hours of sleep, and I felt good proportionate to how good we were doing. So when we were messing up, I was like, I can't eat this breakfast, and when we were not, it was significantly better. But I did get up and I did spring for that game. I've gotten so used to drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, being an East Coast Eagles fan or West Coast Eagles fan. So.
Well, there you go.
We have our first super chat of the day.
Of the entire channel's history.
Of the whole life, my whole life. Thank you, Apollo 11BB. Hey, Jessi, haven't seen you in a while. Hello, welcome to Football's Deep, episode 1. This is the new football show I'm doing with Kendo of World Class Bullshitters.
Yeah.
He's here. So I should post the link, guys. Make sure you're subscribing, because we are gonna this will be off of this channel once this is done, and we will have it up on our new channel. On the new channel, we forgot to set up live streaming ahead of time, and apparently you have to wait 24 hours to be able to do that.
Yeah, we dropped the ball on that one.
Just like a little bit, just like a bit. Oh, Kermit the Log, thank you for your super chat. We now have made $3. Hooray!
Sweet.
Football's Deep, more profitable than solo.
Yeah, more profitable solo Star Wars story. So in the schedule, the season starts on Thursday, September 5th, and typically the Super Bowl champion is the one that opens up the season. However, not this year. The Packers at Bears will be the opening game of this year's season. So that's a little break from tradition with the NFL.
Yeah, probably because it benefited the Patriots in some way, and as we know, they're trying to be cheaters. So. One day we're gonna have to bring Jeremy on this show just to shit on the Patriots.
He'll just be like, "Oh, 6 rig, blah 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 blah," and be like, "Dude, you're not even from New England."
Exactly. You don't even. He's not even gonna be a Patriots fan once Tom Brady goes away. I'm a Tom Brady fan. And then once Tom Brady retires, he'll pick some other stupid player to hang his hat on. The one thing, if Carson Wentz, when Carson Wentz becomes the quarterback, we all know he's going to be. I do not want Jeremy bandwagging on Wentz's success. Be like, oh, I love Carson Wentz. I will not accept that from him. I will not. I'll be like, I will not. No, you can't like my quarterback. Go away.
Well, the easiest solution is just be like, hey, we should go to do this thing in Philadelphia. When he goes with you, take him go to the link, take him to a game, and when he's not looking, just put like a cowboy sticker on his jacket and then just point it out to everybody. And they'll pelt the shit out of him with batteries, snowballs, beer bottles, and you'll solve your problem.
There you go. That sounds good to me. I'm about that. I'm about that. So that said, having the Bears and Packers open, that'll be a competitive game. It'll be a competitive game because neither team is that great. Unfortunately, it turns out Packers have figured out the hard way that you can't just have the best quarterback in the league. You actually need a team around him. I do think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything other than Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest thing that will ever come out of the world of football.
Yeah. Carson Wentz. Thank you very much. You mispronounced Carson Wentz, I think. But
no, I said Patrick Mahomes, right?
No, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is what you meant to say.
I mean, he can do fine all he wants over in the NFC, but when push comes to shove, he's got a bad knee. Patrick Mahomes is my homeboy.
We shall see. We shall see. I mean, he does not have a bad knee anymore. His knee is perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what Robert Griffin III thought.
He did not re-injure his knee last season, though. That's not what took him out last season. Last season, he probably came back too soon from the knee injury and ended up with a stress fracture in his back. So
right.
That is
from trying to carry the team.
That is different. My team is a winner. That said, I do like Patrick Mahomes. I love Andy Reid. I would love to see Andy Reid finish with a ring at some point. That'd be fine with me.
So could I. So that way, every once a year, or twice a year, or multiple times a year, I don't have to throw something down on the ground and scream, "God damn it, Kool-Aid man!"
Yeah, the angry walrus.
That's one of the best memes, gifs of anything that's ever come out of Andy Reid's time in Kansas City is him bursting through the wall screaming, "Oh yeah!" when he's wearing that big ass red shirt.
Oh God, I freaking love it. Oh my god, that is really that is excellent. We love our angry walrus.
Yeah.
We really do. I mean I'm a big fan of Big Balls Doug though. Doug Peterson is a
Oh, I loved him too, and he was the OC for Kansas City.
yeah, he really is a he's got some stuff. He's got some stuff. He's got some magic. Just like to see more of that. We're still for me, jury's out on Mike Groh as an offensive coordinator. And I think Jim Schwartz's defense is fine so long as your offense is putting up points. And I don't think it's great to have your obviously it's symbiotic relationship, but I don't think that I don't think that you can have I don't think that one of your sides of the ball should be dependent on the other to that extent. But that's where we're at.
Oh, believe me, I know the feeling.
Sean Rosa says Andy drank the Kool-Aid man.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Seems reasonable. Reasonable.
So our NFL season will start up on Thursday, September 5th. I figure by then we should have at least 400,000 subscribers, maybe even closer to 4. And every week we'll do our weekly recap video and preview video at the same time, and they'll each garner 6 million views.
I like that. I think that sounds completely reasonable.
Yeah.
All you need is a slightly better lighting setup, and we're golden.
Yeah, well, I'll work on that. I don't really need people to see me. They go week to week with never seeing me, so I think they'll be able to adjust just fine.
I feel like it's weird if one person is seen and the other one is not, and I need to be seen for my own personal narcissism, and because there will be weeks where I'm going to put on my full-on Eagles eye stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be really exciting.
Well, I'll keep that in mind, and I'll figure out a way to make the lighting setup just a tad bit better, and we'll figure it all out.
We'll figure as we go. We have another super chat. Caleb Shird says the greatest quarterback of all time is John Elway.
Incorrect.
I'm going to say false on that one. I'm going to say false.
I mean, is he the greatest quarterback of all time that looks like a fucking barnyard creature? Yes, I'll give you that. Is he the greatest quarterback in the history that's got the most punchable face that you just want to slug it as hard as you can every time you see him? Yes. Is he the greatest quarterback that likes to graze in fields? Probably. But when it comes to the greatest quarterbacks of all time, I can name you 5 off the top of my head that would be ahead of John Elway. So he wouldn't even be in the top 5 discussion.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I think he's good. He's done some wonderful things. He's not. I would agree, not even top 5.
He can get fucked.
Who would you put as greatest of all time?
Greatest quarterback of all time? That is a really, really tough question, just because it's like, how do you compare? I mean, if you go based on rings, we got to say, well, Tommy's up there, but screw him.
He unfortunately is up there, as much as I hate to admit it.
I mean, you got Joe Montana, and he's easily in the top 5 discussion. Brett Favre is Brett Favre, Mark Sanchez. There's all sorts of really good ones up there. But yeah, no, I mean, if we're gonna do it seriously, and you're gonna just based on like certain metrics, I mean, you got Dan Marino, you got Joe Montana.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately Tom Brady.
Yeah, I feel like Montana. Was just, there was something special about him.
Yeah,
he had that intangible quality as well. That just
Joe Cool, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like I don't think Brady's that much fun to watch. He doesn't do anything crazy, There's nothing he does where you're like, oh my god, can you believe he just did that? Like, he's good arm. He's just some like, oh wow, that was a really accurate throw. But he's not an exciting, oh my god, how did he pull that play out of nowhere kind of guy. It's like, oh, he continued to stand there behind his very solid line and eventually put the ball into someone's hands. Hooray.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But Montana. Montana's he had something about Montana made him so much bigger than what he was.
Oh,
I mean, the Upper Deck Card Company was built off of the fact that they had a Joe Montana series when they first launched, and that helped them sell out. So I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to do that with Tommy, but you were able to do it with Joe Montana. Somebody in the chat mentioned Troy Aikman is one of the best of all time. I don't know. It'd be hard to say. I mean, he probably wouldn't even be able to tell you because his eggs have been scrambled so many times. And to hear him on commentary makes me just want to punch a small child.
Oh my god, awful. absolutely awful. I was surprised at how much I actually enjoy Tony Romo as a
Yeah, the Rominator's been fantastic. Like he's got a good mixture of good quips and jokes. He doesn't talk too much. He doesn't like the way he analyzes the play. Like he'll be telling when they're setting up, he goes, "Watch out for this." 9 times out of 10 that happens. Like he can sit down and say, "This is what I think is going to happen," and this, here's what they should be doing. Troy Aikman's just like, "Oh, I remember this time. Go Cowboys!" And I love the fact that I'm a homer on every Cowboys game every fucking week on Fox.
Oh my god! Yep, more things to love about Fox.
And his head looks like a shriveled potato.
It really, he's just everything about him upsets me deeply, and that's the two of them. It's him and what's his face,
Joe Buck.
Joe Buck. That's the worst, easily the worst announcing duo in football. They're just hot steaming garbage. It's not. I mean, they get things wrong all the time, all the freaking time. That's easily Tony Romo, best Cowboy commentator. Definitely knows his stuff. Jason Witten, I will say, Jason Witten, when he's talking the game, is pretty good. When he talks about anything else, just needs to shut up and die.
There you go.
Terrible.
Yeah, I give you that one. But yeah, no, Romo's a good color analyst. I like it when you got Tony Romo.
Where was that football mind when you were playing for the Cowboys? I'm glad it wasn't there then.
Yeah.
It made my life a lot more difficult.
Yeah, you give me Tony Romo and Ian Eagle, and I'll be a happy camper for whatever game it is I'm watching.
Damn straight. Madaween says, I can't tell the difference between Aikman and Buck when they speak. I agree. I can never necessarily. I'm like, douche 1 or douche 2. They both sound like douches. So
yeah, and it's hard for me to want to shit on Joe Buck too, because I grew up listening to Joe Buck for a good because he's from St. Louis, and so he got his start on the local doing like Cardinals games and Blues games and things like that, and then he became big time. And I don't know, he gets a lot of hate, and I didn't used to understand the hate. Now I get the hate, and I'm just like, I'm not going to hate on him, but I totally can understand it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I forgot Jason Witten will not be on the airwaves because he was enticed back to the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's going back to them boys.
Going back to the boys to probably do nothing.
Yeah.
Probably do. If I don't know if they recall, but 2 seasons ago, the whole reason that he ended up retiring was because there was no way the Cowboys were going to continue to pay him what he wanted, given how his complete lack of production that entire season.
Right. So, yeah, he definitely his farewell send-off season was extremely low production, especially somebody that historically as a tight end was usually a good go-to tight end, especially for like I like to rate things based on the fantasy world because I play a lot of fantasy football and stuff, and picking up Witten as your tight end was usually a guaranteed steady stream of every week he's going to at least get me 5 points as a tight end, and which is good for a tight end. Which I'll explain that all to you one day when we finally sit down and go over fantasy and how to play fantasy sports.
I'm excited to learn.
Yeah.
I want Zach Ertz.
I mean, he's a good tight end to get. I mean, you could probably get him. Don't reach, but we'll discuss this when we talk about how to draft in fantasy football. Yeah,
this will be fun. I'm looking forward to this episode. This will be exciting. This will be on one of those weeks where nothing else interesting is happening.
Yeah.
Or whenever fantasy drafts happen. I don't know when fantasy drafts happen.
Usually the week before, either during preseason week 4 or the few days before the season starts. The leagues I'm usually in, one always wants to draft during like the beginning of preseason, and I hate doing that because there's so many good opportunities for a good player to get completely gimped before the season starts. So yeah. I like to draft usually the day or two after that final preseason game.
Reasonable. Because I that definitely makes sense. It's always some big player always goes down in preseason, which is just upsetting. So we have covered more than an hour now. We've covered many football-y topics. I guess we should call it for episode 1.
I was gonna say, you want to give our way too early predictions for division winners?
Oh yeah, let's do it. All right, so let's start with we can start with our respective divisions.
All right, so in the AFC West, I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs win the AFC West.
I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to take the AFC West. I do.
Okay.
I think I think Mahomes is going to have a great season, and
I hope so.
You guys are set up for success. Travis boy too. So
that's the thing, get the defense in order. But hey, we've got the Honey Badger now.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So NFC East, I'm picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Birds. We don't have a lot of we have a lot of players who are getting healthy again. So we got weapons like Derek Barnett and Sidney Jones on defense. I think Jordan Howard's gonna fit into our run scheme really well. Plus we have Deshaun Jackson down the field now. We're gonna be able to work that 3-level stretch like we did 2 seasons ago. And Carson is healthy. So I don't see any reason that the boys are gonna challenge us for that title.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking the Eagles also in my way too early prediction, only because who the fuck else in the NFC East is even good?
Exactly.
The Giants are going to be dog shit. The Redskins are going to be slightly above dog shit. The Cowboys, maybe if Ezekiel Elliott doesn't get suspended, they can do something, but Dak Prescott's regressed substantially, and who are they going to throw to?
Jason Witten, apparently.
Yeah, or that little white guy receiver they got, Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley, who's been very up and down. He'll have moments or seasons or weeks where it's like, oh, he's a superstar, and then other times it's like, who is this guy? We've never heard him mentioned.
All right.
His name just sounds.
All right, where are we going to next? You want to go to the NFC North?
Let's take the North. Let's go to the North. So, I think I've seen nothing to suggest that the Packers are going to be any better this year. The Lions are the Lions. I think it's going to be the Bears. I don't think Cousins is going to be able to keep the Vikings are. It's tight because the Vikings have all the potential to be a good team. But I think it's going to be the Bears. I think the Bears they've been on the up and up, and they're settling into Trubisky. They're settling into what they've got. And I think that they're going to be. I think it'll be the Bears.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because they're gonna keep riding that defense. The defense last year was the main reason why they were as successful as they were. And then you're gonna get to your second or so year of Trubisky and a few other things. And I think the Bears are going to be the best of a division where there's really maybe only one other team that could seriously threaten them, which would be the Vikings.
Yeah.
Because the Packers are definitely on a severe decline, and the Lions, well, they're the Lions.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said Cole Beasley's gone. I didn't know this. Is that correct?
Beasley went to Buffalo. Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing they wear blue and red so you can see them.
There you go. Oh man, that's Beasley's gone. They've got Ridley. That's their. Oh, they Amari Cooper.
Oh yeah, they got Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll throw to Amari Cooper, who, I mean, yeah, he's still got it, but he can't win you a game. He cannot win you a game.
Just that one that he won towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that'll be. I mean, that'll help them. Like Cooper, all right. But Witten's not anything to sneeze at. They'll win some games, They'll win some games, and yeah, Cooper's a good deep threat. But that's it. They've got some.
Yeah, if they don't have an established second or third receiver, then you're just going to put a corner on him and put a safety on him and double him up and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Witten's slow as crap, so just put a drop one of your just drop a linebacker on him. You don't even need to chase him around anywhere. So yeah, they'll be very defendable. Very defendable. And I think Ezekiel Elliott, it's he's been in the league now for this will be his 4th season in the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that with running backs, even the great running backs. At some point, teams figure out how to put the brakes on them.
Yep, so. Definitely. Yeah, they're not going to destroy. He's not Barry Sanders.
No. So and we've seen him be stoppable before, and he's going to just become continuously more stoppable.
Right.
So he's also due. I mean, look, all running backs at some point suffer nasty injuries, typically. So he's due, since they've been keeping him healthy with the suspensions. But he's due for to get wrecked. So
couldn't have him to a better team.
There you go. Right. Oh man. So that's the North. So we're both taking the Bears for the North. Shall we do the AFC North?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to Hail Mary it to the Browns.
I was going to pick the Browns as well. I got to say, I mean, like I said, they're either going to do it or they're going to implode, but the Bengals are definitely making a strong bid for worst team in the AFC North.
Yes.
the Steelers, I don't know what is going on with them, but it looks like they're going for full implosion.
Yeah, they've got Connor coming back, so that could be. I mean, he'll put up some numbers, and then they got Juju still out there as the receiver, but they just extended Roethlisberger again, who had way more misses than hits of games last season, and he's on the wrong side of. I think he's the same age as Eli now because they both got drafted in 2004, so he's on the wrong side of 35, and I mean, they got rid of Brown and Bell, so they got rid of a whole lot of the drama, but
also a whole lot of the talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say their two biggest pieces are gone now. So what will they do? And then I think the Ravens are still a ways away from. They're in a rebuild. They're in total rebuild mode.
Yeah, but I mean, Lamar, that's they could if the Browns explode, if the Browns self-destruct with all the egos in the locker room, then the Ravens will quietly slip in and take that title.
Definitely.
That's because they're I think the steadiest team right now. I think they're in the best place for the future. Yeah, that said, again, if the Browns, if they can settle all those egos and they can get those guys working together, the Browns are an all-star team.
Yeah, but they've loaded up big time.
It's just a question of whether or not that those pieces work as a unit or as very individual, loud, squeaky pieces.
Correct. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So that's I'm going to toss up Ravens or Browns on that one because I think there's a lot of variables in the air.
We just go AFC East. We'll just say the Patriots.
Yeah, so his name is Patriots.
No reason to explain it. It's going to be the Patriots.
Patriots. Who's QBing for the Dolphins right now?
Fitzmagic.
Oh, Fitzmagic.
I'm pretty sure it's Fitzmagic because I know Tannehill was there, but I don't know if he left or because he was hurt.
Yeah, he was.
And Fitzmagic, I think, got signed from Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So I want to say it's probably Fitzmagic. He's either Fitzmagic or Tannehill. I don't remember if Tannehill left or not.
Fitzmagic. I don't know if they've got. I mean, I'm assuming it's Tannehill. Let's see. Oh, hi, cat. There's a cat.
Oh, kitty.
Tannehill went to the Titans.
Oh, well, then he's going to back up Mariota if he's, upright again.
Yeah, that's so the Titans have Blaine and Mariota and Tannehill. So that's it.
I guess so. So yeah, so if Tannehill's gone with the Titans, then the Dolphins are probably going to be looking to draft a quarterback because they're going to need one. But until then, I guess they're going to just rely on Fitzmagic and consider it a wash for this year.
Yo, if they get somebody that they want to maybe sit for the first few games. If Fitzmagic is hot, that can be like a nice, easy 5-game win streak. And then you've got your new guy has enough juice to come and take over. That's a thing. That could happen. That could be a possibility.
Definitely.
Depending on who they get. I don't know where they're poised in the draft right now, but I mean, look, Fitzmagic is no joke. When he's hot, it's scary. We faced that last year when they were hot. So,
yeah, he's either going to throw 400 yards and 4 touchdowns for you, or he's going to end up throwing 6 interceptions.
Exactly. What do you think, Lando? What do you think? Who are you rooting for? He's an Eagles fan. Lando's an Eagles fan, right?
Oh, that's nice.
You'll get him. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. He's like, fly, Eagles, fly. I will hunt you and take you out of the sky. Oh, I love you.
So in the NFC West, do we think anybody other than the Rams will win that one?
If you ask Tony, it's going to be the Niners. It's going to be their year. Now the Rams are going to win. The Niners are still, in spite of what somebody that I care deeply about thinks, they still have a lot of things to get right. They still have a lot of depth issues to address and a lot of skills issues to address.
And Jimmy Garoppolo's coming back from the knee.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, he could turn out to be a fine quarterback, but there's still a lot of pieces missing from that to make that a complete team.
Definitely,
they have some weapons. They're not gonna, they'll be a contender. They're a long shot for a wild card. I would say a long shot, but they're a long shot for a wild card. The Seahawks, I feel like, are always a wild card possibility, but they also, I don't know what they've done to address their issues.
They gutted their defense.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
So I don't see them being able to challenge the Rams. And the Rams still have a lot of, I mean, they're gonna come up against that. That's gonna be a cap issue for them in a couple of years, but as of right now, they still have their all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked together well last season. They certainly did. They're not an unbeatable team. I think they won't be as good of a team this year as last year. I think toward later in the season, certain teams that unseeded them, that got big wins against them, like the Eagles later in the season, really exposed some of their weaknesses. It didn't help that I think Gurley was definitely playing injured for a lot of the second half of the season. But they'll still, especially with a healthy Todd Gurley, they'll win their division.
Yeah, most likely. The best of a bad bunch, probably. So, all right. So I guess we just have the two Souths to deal with. So so AFC South, Jacksonville.
I'm giving it to Jacksonville. I mean, look, they got Big Dick Nick.
That's right.
I will say this is if Nick does not show up for their team, he will forever be the quarterback that can only play in Philadelphia. And I'm totally okay with that because we will welcome him back as our backup.
There you go.
But if he shows up, if he plays, they have the pieces as well. Did they offload Leonard Fournette? I know they were trying to.
I don't think they did.
So they're gonna end up sticking with him or not. But they certainly, I mean, the defense is still good. They have Nick Foles is definitely a real team leader, and they haven't had a team leader like that on their offense in a while.
Are you saying Blake Bortles didn't know how to lead a team?
I'm saying that Blake Bortles may not have been the most impressive quarterback ever to grace the league. Maybe not.
Yeah, he's definitely not in the conversation.
Not even no. He might be. He might not be in conversation with the worst quarterbacks of all time either. He may be up there for worst quarterbacks to ever take their team to the playoffs. Maybe the worst quarterback to ever take their team to the conference championship game. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
He's one of those best worsts.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Blake Bortles.
Best worst. Yeah. So that's I think Jacksonville. I don't think. Well, where are the Texans at this year? They've
same place they always are. They could be good, but they could be disastrous.
They might not be. I think Jacksonville will be a better team with Nick Foles. So I think that they're still going to have the edge over Houston. Though, you're talking DeAndre Carter has become quite a weapon for the Texans as a slot receiver and as a returner. And I wish the Eagles had kept him because I really liked him and I wanted to see what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I miss him. But no, I think the Jacksonville there'll be some stiff competition with the Texans, but I think they'll take the division as well. And then the NFC South, I'm giving that to the Saints again.
Yeah, again, the Saints are probably the best team in that group. They still got Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. I think Ingram is the only person on that offense that lost. So they still got Kamara, and he's still got his receivers. So
yep.
Yeah.
And for all the things, I mean, he's had some up and downs, Brees, but he's not. We're not seeing a big decline, and he's just like the other guys we've been talking about. Like Tom Brady and Rodgers. Any day now, these guys are gonna really start going down that hill. But you're not seeing it yet. Every year, and I've Saints fans every year they think, oh my God, is this going to be the year that Brees finally just loses whatever he had, and he's just not.
Yeah, it didn't show any signs of it last year. So I mean, this year could be the start of the decline, but I mean, he's probably not going to just fall off out of nowhere and go from being a really great quarterback to just can't. He's not going to go to Tebow levels of throwing anytime soon.
No, and that's the Panthers. This is Newton's last chance. This is really it, and I don't think he's going to show up. Matt Ryan is past his prime for the Falcons.
The Falcons they just need to blow it up and start over.
Yeah, they're at that point. They had a good run, while it lasted, but they blew their big chance, and they're an older team that needs to.
And Tampa Bay still has Jameis Winston, so
there you go. Yeah, so Tampa's gonna Tampa.
Yep.
I think that one goes. I mean, even if Brees drops off with his productivity, I think it's still the Saints by default. I don't think anyone else in that division can challenge the Saints this season.
But we still have the draft to go and the preseason and all that other stuff. So that's why these are our way, 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 way too early predictions.
Way, way, way too early. So many things that haven't even happened. Next week will be our draft episode.
Yep.
We'll talk
recapping the draft. Who did good, who reached, and who fucked up.
Winners, losers, and meh. And meh.
It used to be winners, losers, and the Browns. Now
there you go. Now I don't know. Now the Browns don't have any big needs to address in the draft. So
no. So we'll see what happens.
Probably still have 8,000 draft picks because they always have 8,000 draft picks. Because they still suck. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
We'll see how it goes.
Still mind blown. End of last season. How you were in like week 12 or something, and you're like, the Browns still have a shot to be a wild card team. They were even in the running for that. They still technically could have won their division like deep into last season. It was interesting. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun doing the draft. Do you wanna do the same time next week? Can you do the same? I think we can talk about that.
Yeah, I'm free all day Wednesday.
All right, let's plan on same time next week around the noonish hour. Possibly back on this channel, possibly on the other channel. We'll see what we decide.
We'll figure it out.
In the meantime, everybody go ahead and subscribe to Footballs Deep, your football podcast featuring us. Give us all of the views so that we can get monetized immediately and have all those first world, mo money, mo problems.
That's right.
That's the kind of problems we want. All right. Well, that'll do it. That'll do it for episode 1. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for our, we're rich now. We made like $5, maybe $7 even on this. We're
going to Carl's Jr.
Yeah, I'm excited. Maybe in the future we'll even be able to afford Shake Shack.
Yeah, maybe we got up our game.
I'm feeling good about this. Oh, we have someone says that our 7th subs. We have at least 7 subs now. It's very exciting. Woo! Yeah, so I'll pull this. This will be up on the channel as soon as I can get it there, and then I'm gonna go yell about Brie Larson or something for my own channel.
Fantastic. I'm gonna go do some Patron work for the World Class Bullshitters for the rest of the evening, and then tomorrow we're just getting pumped for Endgame.
Yeehaw! All right, thank you guys for joining us. Go Birds!
Chiefs.
And we'll catch y'all next time.